The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. From the heart of Broadway in historic downtown Cape Girardeau, this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted.
It's March 6, 2019, in the year of our Lord Glacier, and you are tuned right here to Pro Wrestling Unscripted on the Podzilla 1985 network. What's up, guys? Shannon Young, Mr. 100 here with you once again, along with the five-star man, Asa Gray.
Yes.
Delayed reaction.
I was because
yes!
something got posted that I thought was way more relevant, but it's a clip from like years ago, so doesn't matter.
Was the thing I posted about Honky Tonk Man?
Yes.
Oh shit! Was it really?
Apparently, Cody just reposted it.
To my right, Ali Eber.
Hello.
In her pink Korean Army hoodie, because we really need to have a talk after this.
Like, we're kind of worried about you?
Yeah. Like, which Korea? Good Korea or bad Korea?
Probably bad Korea.
It's from the future, so there's only one Korea.
So the bad Korea.
No, definitely good Korea. I've seen them. I've seen those girls. And to my left, the big D, Dalton Anthony.
Yo.
So what Ace is talking about is I posted a video today of years ago. It was the Honky Tonk Man talking about the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And like, I didn't want to start anything with it. I wasn't even trying to like say, oh, look what he said back then. Mm-hmm. Because
this was like, it was also like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and people change their minds all the time. Like, you can't hold someone to what they said 10 years ago because people change. And I'm sure, you know, especially if he had a beef with like WWE at the time or whatever. But I just thought it was kind of funny. Here he is shitting on it. And what I think the only thing from that video that actually upset me was when he starts talking about like Kurt Hennig, you know, snorts a line of coke or whatever, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Like, all these people that kind of had tragedies, and he's kind of making fun of it. That I didn't appreciate.
I didn't watch it because I don't particularly
care for the Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah,
we talked about this before.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about it when he first got announced
last week.
It's just like he was before my time, and as a wrestling fan, and
he was definitely. I will say this: he was definitely the better half of him and Greg, the leather fuckface Valentine.
So I was gone last week. What the hell did you say in the pre-show to piss him off over Greg Valentine?
Greg Valentine is literally like,
if you paid $1, you'd know.
I work for the company.
Well,
what company?
Podzilla.
It's like me and my cat. You know? No, I just think Greg's a garbage person. I really do. Anyway. We do have a new Hall of Fame inductee this week, and it's a pretty cool one. Mm-hmm. We'll get to that here in a little bit. We're also going to talk about the Stride event over the weekend. They had their Strideaversary show. A little bit at the end there. We're kind of running late tonight. We're also going to preview Fastlane. We're going to talk about just a couple other real cool things, but we have to start with the big story, a very sad story, and I really hate doing these, but it is our job and duty. King Kong Bundy passed away over the weekend. I think it was Monday.
It was like a day ago, a day or two ago.
It was pretty quick. He was 61 years old. I don't know what he passed away from.
I didn't see.
I don't know if they've released that information yet. King Kong Bundy. So this is another one of my wrestlers because obviously I grew up in the '80s when King Kong Bundy was at his biggest.
Excuse you, I loved Married with Children.
Which fun fact, which Asa pointed out in the group chat, which I had known already, but for those of you that don't know,
and it's one of those things that I probably knew. I just like forgot until I read it again.
Well, because Married with Children hasn't been relevant in so long, even though it's one of the greatest shows of all time. Don't at me,
of that era. In a vacuum.
We watched, all right.
It was a different time.
2-minute tangent, 1 minute, 1 minute. We watched a video last night about a, no, this is a good one. This is actually good.
Real quick. Actually, I want to talk at length about it.
At length. There's a channel that talks about like LGBT stuff in media.
Mm-hmm. Culture Cruise or something.
Yeah. And they talked about the Married with Children episode where Peggy met a guy and the guy's husband went to Al and said, your wife's having an affair with my husband. And they were talking about how refreshing it was that Al Bundy did not care that the guy was gay. Like, this was during a time when like gay marriage and stuff was not if it was talked about on TV, it was in a very joking manner and very satirical. And even though it ended on the worst joke, which I knew they were going to bring it up, and I'm not going to say it on here, but for the most part, the show was really, really classy towards gay rights and gay marriage, which was very cool for Married with Children in the 90s.
Right.
With that said, you might notice that Al Bundy was named after King Kong Bundy, the Bundy name. And then the Rhodes family, which was their neighbors, was named after the Dusty Rhodes, which I always thought was very cool. And King Kong Bundy was in an episode of Married with Children.
Yeah.
And it was cool. King Kong Bundy was like one of the scariest dudes I can remember back in wrestling during that time period.
The only and it's just because I've never really gone back and watched a lot of his stuff. The only match that I very much remember was at WrestleMania 2 with
Hogan,
the cage.
In the cage?
Yeah.
It was either 2 or 3.
Well, no, because 3 was Andre.
Yeah, I think it was 2 then. I think.
Yeah.
That's the one I remember the most too, was King Kong. And it got to a point where like King Kong Bundy's one of those wrestlers that I don't remember what happened to him. Like it's like he was all over WWE one day, and then the next he was just gone.
The story is that he accepted some outside work, like advertising with like computers or something like that, using the King Kong Bundy name, and he didn't get prior approval for. And so Vince like saw the ad and immediately fired him.
Wow.
Yeah. The only reason I know that is because it got posted on Reddit of like, oh, look at this. This is the ad that he did that led to him being fired because he didn't, ask permission from the office.
WrestleMania 2.
Was 2.
Yeah.
It's a shame because King Kong Bundy was an amazing bad guy.
It was the same. Who I can't remember who tweeted it, but they were like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, he's not in the Hall of Fame. Like, really?
Right.
That is very surprising.
Yeah.
Because and then the other, I think, was it one of the Dudleys? It might have been Bubba, but he mentions like King Kong Bundy's not in the Hall of Fame, Rick Martel, and he brought up a couple other names of people who like, how are these, should have been like in the first wave of inductees.
Yeah. As an 80s kid, I agree with Rick Martel was one of my favorites. He's still one of my I saw a match, it was on Wrestling with Regret. His match in WCW.
Oh yeah.
He was still fantastic. Like he was still going in WCW. And King Kong Bundy, did he ever wrestle past WWF? Because I actually don't know the answer to that.
I think he did spot shows. I think he would do indie spot shows here and there. And I'm like 95% sure he did that super, super, super amazing indie show with Jake the Snake, the Legends of Wrestling one.
Oh, yeah.
Or Heroes of Wrestling.
Heroes of Wrestling.
Yeah, where it's you got 21, I got 22 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he masturbated the snake.
Yes, he did. And he rubbed people all over, women's hands all over him. Yeah, he didn't actually masturbate the snake. He treated it like a penis. There's a difference.
All right, he was using
it as a phallic object.
I don't think you get to judge this man.
All right, here's the thing. I made a joke.
Yeah.
He put a snake between his legs and jerked it off.
Okay, but again,
All
right, we're talking way too much about snake masturbation and not enough about the legend King Kong Bundy. I believe Ace is looking up some info about King Kong Bundy.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what he did
post WWF.
Yeah, and it looks like because on Wikipedia it goes from returned to World Wrestling Federation from 94 to 95, and then from Independent Circuit 95 to 2007.
And that's a big name for the independents. But again, Bundy was like, I feel like he's one of the most recognizable bad guys in wrestling history because there's not a lot of people that look like him. He was never in great shape, obviously, but he was a great worker.
But he carried it. But he was also like insanely athletic.
Yeah. He was a one of a kind. One of a kind. The bald head. I mean, everything about him was memorable.
He did do that Heroes of Wrestling show, by the way.
Poor guy.
Yeah, it was him and Neidhart against Jake and Yokozuna.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be a singles match that they turned into a tag because of reasons. So it's very, very sad. King Kong Bundy passed away at 61. Our hearts go out to all the King Kong Bundy fans. I think we do.
And as of today, there is no reported cause of death yet. So
there's one of those things that, like, I'm a very petty person, so I want to bring up Enzo, but I'm not.
There's no point. There's honestly,
there's
he's
literally
not
not a
yeah. It's just, let's say he's just a shitty person and leave it at that. But
or dumb,
one or the other.
Yeah,
but yeah. So King Kong
Probably
Bundy.
both.
What's that?
Probably both.
Definitely both. I would wager. Definitely.
Okay, yeah, sure. Go on.
That's all I gotta say. I do wonder. So is the name King Kong, is that public domain?
Yeah, it has to.
I feel like it is.
I have no idea.
Because I know Donkey Kong got sued originally because of using the Kong name and King Kong Estate or whatever, the creators of it. But I feel like at this point, King Kong is so old that it's in public domain where anybody can do anything for it.
Yeah.
Because I always wondered, did they have to pay a King Kong royalty like Hogan did with Hulk?
About to say, it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think so.
Because the guy had a great look, and also what a perfect name, King Kong Bundy. That's such a cool name. Like, that is a big heel name right there, King Kong Bundy. King Kong didn't have shit on him.
I'd wrestle against him a lot on those Legends of Wrestling games because he was just like the biggest dude on that roster.
He was just the biggest dude in general. It's a sad year for professional wrestling. Been a sad couple of years for professional wrestling. I said it before and I'll say it again. All of my heroes from the 80s and 70s and stuff are dying. And we got Flair and Hogan and DiBiase and
Say the line, Bart. Who else is alive still? Greg the Hammer Valentine.
no. I said legends.
Jesus Christ.
Said legends.
Someone posted a picture of the Heenan family reunited.
Yeah.
And having the drawing.
Like there was a drawing that was really sweet.
And whenever I saw that, it immediately pissed me off because he wasn't in that 4-pack that I bought at Target. Because I would love a King Kong, but there's been one Elite.
Oh really?
I don't want to know how much he's.
I've never seen a King Kong Bundy toy.
I used to make them.
Oh.
Because like Kevin, Huntsberger does Figure Friday now because I guess he wants to step on my toes.
And he actually talks
And-
about King Kong Bundy.
Sorry, what
recently.
content are you putting out based on your wrestling collection?
Oh, I just didn't know Kevin was known for his toys.
He's a complex person.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hobbies.
See, Kevin Huntsberger wears a lot of hats, and all of them are successful hats.
I'm gonna
That's
get
the thing.
I better get a fun text message in the next 2 days over that.
I never get texts from Kevin so much anymore. I always get them from Garrett whenever I compliment him, so I'm just going to say it right now. Garrett's a very handsome man. We'll leave it at that.
Second.
Oh, yeah, no, he very much is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He posted a picture today of him that says, I look good for once, and I thought, oh, go to hell.
I don't deal with him on that
Go to
bullshit.
hell.
No.
I'm sure it has nothing to do with recent events, but just looking on eBay's listing on Google, WWE Mattel King Kong Bundy Legends Elite action figure. Well, there's one for $189.99.
Oh.
Oh, well, if they can eat a bag
Everything
of
else
shit,
is
There you go.
$200.
I can get Pete Dunne for that price.
Yeah.
You can get a 6-inch glow in the dark action figure. Legends of Wrestling, AWA, WWF, WWE. That's just tags for $35.
Oh,
Hey, that's not bad.
It has no features on it. It literally just kind of looks like a.
Oh, I
Green
know
Man.
what that is. Yeah, I know what that is.
It
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
like Flubber. That's
Yeah.
kind of upsetting.
I bought an Alistair Black body for $35 because mine's broken. So somebody just sold the body for $35 for a $20 toy. I'm addicted, guys.
So
Wow.
I was gonna say, are you mad at him? But like, he wouldn't exist if it weren't for people like you
Yeah.
paying that.
we're going to move on.
I was gonna say
but-
too much of a tangent. Too much of a
but I
tangent.
do want to mention, since you
so
mentioned
hungry.
that, was that Bob he buys a bunch of toys online, and he'll buy those big lots.
Yeah.
So he'll get boxes in, and we'll be looking through it, and it's like, here's a G.I. Joe missing an arm and a leg. Here's Shredder missing an arm. And I'm like, what are you doing with those? He's like, I just keep them.
He's hoping that eventually he'll get
make
he'll
one.
he'll like the shredder with the missing right arm, like
Comes in.
a shredder right arm just appears in the next lot.
That like, if for real happens, no, I'm gonna keep the Alistair Black body, and like, I'm eventually gonna make a me Elite. So I'm gonna use I'm gonna put actual clothes on it, like fabric.
Hold
so
on.
I can use that as
Hold
like
on.
the
No, back up. Did you just say you're making an Elite of you?
at some point, yeah.
Using Alistair Black's body.
Using Alistair
As the base, yeah.
What a coincidence, because I'm trying to buy the King Kong Bundy one so I can make an Elite of me.
Oh, I'm so happy you set that up that way. That was
Oh,
great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. That
All
was
right.
tip of the hat, sir.
Let's move on. AEW Fight for the Fallen in Jacksonville on July 13th. Asa, tell me about it.
Yeah, that's going to be their event after the Double or Nothing in Vegas. This is the one that's going to be it's a charity show. So like proceeds are going to victims of gun violence because there was that shooting in Jacksonville at the Madden tournament not too long ago.
Which was
So
ridiculous.
this
Yeah,
is
sad.
and this is will you look up? It's an amp. They're not doing it at like a traditional like stadium. So it's going to be because to keep costs down. But it's
like an amphitheater?
yeah, it's in an amphitheater, which Impact has run shows at an amphitheater, and it has a pretty unique look. So
It does.
and I'm
not-
sure with the money behind AEW, like they will make it look as good as possible.
Money behind AEW, you must be talking about, is it Tony Khan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who just topped Vince McMahon in the list of top billionaires.
Yeah, by like $5 billion.
I just thought that was a headline. I think it was on 4-1 Mania the other day that he is now above Vince McMahon, and I thought
And honestly,
wasn't he
like-
already?
I think I don't know, but
You know?
like honestly, like can we? Poor Vince, man.
I feel bad for him.
He only has $2 billion.
right.
Man, that's
Well, that's because that bitch of a wife wasted so much money trying to run for Hoe of the Month.
really.
No, I stretched on that
Really?
one. I apologize. That was too much.
That joke wasn't funny, but Ace's reaction was.
Sometimes I make dumb jokes just to get a reaction, and I really think that's part of the I'll go home at night and hate myself for it. Legitimately, I'll go home and beat myself up and go, "Why do you do that? Why do you do this, Pac-Man?" But it is true. Vince did spend a lot of money on Linda's campaign when she was
Yeah, but
running.
when you're a billionaire, there's no such thing as spending a lot of money.
It was
Like you can be like J.K. Rowling who donates it all away, but
That would be sweet. I feel like if
he donated it into a football league.
I thought you said J.K. Rowling for a second. I was like, there's so many things wrong with what you just said.
did you see? And this, I couldn't find enough information on it to really put it into a story for a full discussion. But that there's apparently a lawsuit going on, or that's in the process of being filed between what's the knockoff football company that's not XFL, the one that's actually going right now,
The
AAF.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know but I know what you're talking
So
about.
apparently they expressed interest in buying the XFL name.
Okay.
And when they approached whoever, like Vince or whoever, whenever they approached them, that's what kind of kickstarted the whole let's bring back the XFL.
Oh, balls.
Alliance of American Football.
Okay, yeah. I knew. Yeah, I thought it was like an American football something. But yeah, so apparently there is the early filings of some sort of lawsuit. I don't know on what. Again, I couldn't find find enough information to really dedicate this to a story. And it's been a couple weeks now. But it's something that I'm hoping to see a little bit more, because it's copyright law, and I don't know shit about copyright law.
Right.
I barely know anything about wrestling.
But bird law.
Bird law, I am a champion of. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where I keep hoping to see
Something.
an update or something that I can really kind of sink my teeth into. But I just thought that was an interesting development, that the idea that someone else wanted to use the name kind of kickstarted, like, no, we can do this.
We can bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you have something on a yard sale and somebody else wants to buy it, and suddenly now you want it. You
Even
don't
more.
want to sell it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say first off, cool on AEW for doing a charity show in Jacksonville. And speaking of, I heard this, but we don't have a lot to go on. We kind of danced around talking about this on the pre-show, and like, should we talk about it on the show? And I feel like it warrants. There's enough smoke to say there could be a fire there, so it's worth talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes with a grain of salt, because I don't think anything concrete has come out about it. So this is speculation, but it's speculation that I think is worth mentioning.
And it expands on the story that we talked about last week, where Arn Anderson, in all of those releases from WWE, Arn Anderson and TJ Perkins were not granted releases, they were fired.
Right.
Arn Anderson, at the time, we understood there was some sort of incident at a house show or at a live event, and that it kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back, because he and Vince allegedly already had a very strained working relationship, and this was just the final straw.
And what we found out since then is, allegedly, because again, there's no concrete evidence about this, but again, a lot of smoke, is that Alicia Fox, who is a wrestler in WWE, that she showed up to a live event intoxicated. And Arn Anderson, who was the road agent and was the one in charge of the match, let her wrestle anyway. And when I say we don't have anything, it's concrete to go on, I again want to say that this may not be true. This is just something that is out there and it's worth talking about, because if it is true that Arn Anderson did let her go out and wrestle intoxicated, I love Arn Anderson, but he absolutely should have been fired for that.
Yeah.
I think without a doubt.
And there is kind of a little bit of an extra caveat onto that story where, again, allegedly this is Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful is claiming that after this incident, WWE offered to send Alicia Fox to rehab, because apparently this is an
issue.
She potentially, again, this is, I feel kind of bad just even putting it out there, because I don't want to, even if it comes out that it's not true, I don't want it to be
character assassination.
And I don't want to be another voice adding to this,
Right.
character assassination of this woman who doesn't deserve it. And even if it is true, to just pile on,
one more voice to on the
like,
issue.
Yeah. So, but apparently she's had issues before. They offered to send her to rehab, and she has since just ghosted. She didn't, like, I don't know if she gave a response, but she didn't show up to the next set of live events or TV. And
a lot of people,
when we don't have, I haven't seen any development on that at all. But
yeah, because a lot of people have said that. Hell, I lost my thought.
Well,
are we talking about Alicia Fox or Arn Anderson?
A lot of people were saying, "Oh, why wasn't she fired too?" Like, if this is true, if she really did that, why wasn't she fired too? It's her fault just as much as his. She showed up. Where else can you show up to work drunk?
And it is reckless and dangerous, but it is kind of, it's also that thing where what we know so much more now about addiction, that yeah, you can have that knee jerk reaction. And and honestly, like, if what happened is, if that's what happened, she did show up to work drunk. She did decide to wrestle intoxicated, and then she refused rehab. I do think that they absolutely have grounds to let her go, because there's only so much you can do for someone. And if you can't have someone on your roster who is not showing up to shows and
could endanger people if
exactly.
she did.
Yeah.
But it's also, you can't, as I explained to somebody today, because they were like, just fire her. Like, she should be fired. You can't go to work drunk. You can fire a drunk person. I said, well, kind of. I mean, aren't there laws either against, or you can't just fire an addict for being an addict? Like,
yeah, because it not a protected class. That is not the right word, but there are protections against like people with abuse issues.
Because a lot of people who have substance abuse issues, if you know someone that has a substance abuse issue, and your first instinct is to just fire them and not get them help, that looks shitty on you.
Right. But at the same time, like, rehab is only it's like proven that rehab is only successful whenever the person going truly wants to get better.
Right.
You cannot force someone into rehab and expect there to be good results.
Yeah.
You can send them into a state of detox. You can get them potentially past the chemical addiction if you keep them there long enough and you keep them away from it long enough. But there's always an underlying issue that leads them to the draw, and it's that statement where, once an addict, always an addict.
Right.
It's just it's a constant everyday battle.
And like Jake Roberts talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, we know a lot of wrestlers that battle with addiction, and it's an everyday fight.
Yeah. And like, my whole thing with it, and then this is all basing if it's true, because like we don't know for 100% fact that it is or is not, but like, it is super irresponsible on her part, because her job in there is to make sure the other person doesn't get hurt. Like, that's literally, like, that's what I would have been taught.
Yeah.
My job is to make sure the other person in there walks out as good as they walked in. And like, I've seen it in locker rooms where people drink backstage, which, like, I'm not super comfortable with. But you have issues like that, and it's just like, all right, cool, you have that. Now you have this person in the ring with somebody. You start having, like, you have a bigger issue on your hand if that person is...
That's a liability issue.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, that's why, like, I'm kind of like, yes, Arn Anderson does deserve to be let go.
Yeah.
Like, that he should... That is where the buck should have stopped.
Yeah, I can't think of a single reason why he would have allowed her to wrestle. Like, that baffles me.
The only thing is if she was adamant about the fact, like, if she came in and said, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, if he genuinely thought that, like, oh, she wasn't intoxicated, or she, if she really, really pushed and demanded that, she should be allowed, then, I mean, yeah, mistakes happen.
Yeah.
Like, and it could have been a thing where he believed, and again, this is all just wild speculation.
Yeah, right.
And I'm not trying to make it sound like she's some manipulative,
or that he's
lied her way,
or he's an idiot, irresponsible.
Right.
Yeah.
So
like, and the flip side I wanted to put on it that I was going to get to is, all right, she drinks, gets in the ring because Arn lets her, and then injures somebody, and like legit injures somebody. Because when you're like,
like the worst case scenario.
Yeah, like I have been drunk before, and I have wrestled. Not at the same time. Let me also put those not.
I was going to say,
I'm glad you clarified
independently of each other.
We were about to have a conversation.
Yeah, like I have never drank and then gotten into a ring, but I have drank and I have also gotten into the ring independently of each other. There's no way that even like buzzed State Dalton could get in the ring and do what I'm expected.
Drunk driving.
To be fair, though, not to be fair, not at all. But there is a difference between someone who doesn't, like, you never really drank a lot.
No.
Like you would have, you would go and get drunk like every once in a great while.
Gentleman drinks is what we call them.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like if she has, like, if this is an issue, if she is an alcoholic, there are people who, and it's part of the addiction, that cannot function if they don't have some alcohol in their system.
Yeah, right. I get what you're saying.
You get the DTs, like, and their body kind of adapts to that. Never to the point that it's safe for them to wrestle. Never to the point that they should be driving,
right,
or anything like that. So it's
and that's when it falls on people like Arn Anderson,
who
was in charge to make that decision.
Right.
Yeah, and it's the whole thing. Like, I am completely, if this is what it is, yes, deserves to be gone.
Because this is,
but it's also one of those, like, what looks worse? Arn let her do it, or she legit injure somebody. Now, granted, Arn would be way worse in way worse shape, but so would she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing that gets me like in this story that kind of gets me upset because like there's another human.
Right.
Like that's.
It reminds me, not the exact same situation, but it kind of reminds me when Jim Ross got fired because Ric Flair showed up drunk.
Yeah, see, and that's like, but I think that's kind of apples to oranges because
Well, yeah, because Flair wasn't endangering anybody's life.
and Jim Ross is not
in
Flair's
charge of
keeper.
that. Yeah.
Flair, yeah, that's whereas Arn isn't necessarily her keeper in that he has to make sure she's sober, but he very much is the person to determine that
When that match happens.
That is not Jim Ross was a glorified host. Yes, he was a moderator, but he's not in charge of who goes up on the stage or when.
No, and like I said, nobody was going to get hurt in that thing, unless Flair falls off a stage or something,
or like tries to fight someone or something, which from what we know is not very. That's not Ric Flair's style. He wants to party.
And plus, Flair. I mean, this was not party Flair. This was my son died.
Yeah,
this was grieving. I don't know how to handle these emotions.
Which I can't wait to talk about Raw because there was something on there that bugged me that deals with that. Allie, what do you think about this? Like, I know I put a lot on you when it comes to these serious topics, but is there any scenario where Arn Anderson shouldn't be fired, and what should happen to Alicia Fox if this is true?
There's probably not a situation where he shouldn't be fired. Because if it was able for people to tell that she was intoxicated, then he should have been able to tell. Like, you can smell it. It's not
It's
really
it's
a
not
hard
to-
thing.
yeah.
They really what they can do for Alicia Fox is offer her help, which from what we have heard they have.
That's their MO. Like 9 times out of 10, that's what they do.
But if she doesn't show up to work anymore, whenever she does show up to work, she is drunk. They can't make her do it, like Asa said. And at some point, it does become a liability having her there. They did what they could, and I wouldn't be surprised if we find out she's been released.
Because there was another wrestler that was addicted that was offered help and refused it, and he was fired. Kurt Angle.
I thought you were going Jeff Hardy.
That's what I thought you were going
Jeff
to.
Hardy too. But I specifically remember I think Angle was painkillers, and they told him you need to go get help. He refused it. So
Go to rehab.
Yeah, and they let him go, and then he went to TNA.
Wasn't it always with Hardy like they offered him rehab and then he just walked?
That I'm not 100. I'm honestly not familiar enough to comment on it.
But there's a good example of when someone shows up wasted at work. Obviously, Victory Road. When Jeff Hardy went to wrestle Sting, Eric Bischoff came out, called the audible because they were going to let him go out and wrestle. And Bischoff, what? Bischoff goes out and says, no,
this is what's happening.
This is what's happening. And Sting put Jeff Hardy down legitimately and held him down to end the match.
Yeah.
And it was a giant embarrassment.
And that's why you don't want things like that to happen.
And that stigma still follows Hardy,
to this day.
unfairly to this day. Like, it's just, that's not something that
But he also said that was the moment he that led toward his getting
eventually,
better.
Because that was his rock bottom.
Right. Oh, I thought you had something. You were reading. I thought you had something.
No, well, I do have something. This is just so to move on from there because I'm so hungry. There was rumors that Tommaso Ciampa was going to undergo neck surgery this week. WWE.com, NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa will undergo neck surgery tomorrow.
Oh.
So
is it surgery or was it getting a diagnosis?
Undergo neck surgery.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
So
following a medical evaluation today, Ciampa has been scheduled for an anterior cervical fusion. He is, because he was, it was rumored he was going to try to, work through it. He was going to try to still do TakeOver New York, because this has been a 2-year-long story of him and Gargano that they've been telling that already has the hurdle of, well, now they're on the main roster as DIY. This sucks because that is a year minimum.
About to say,
when he is on the top of his game, he is as great as he has ever been.
I would go the whole thing say that Ciampa is my favorite bad guy in wrestling.
Yeah,
unapologetic
because he's not the cool bad guy,
right?
Like he is just a sociopath.
Yeah,
and like the way he holds the title is unique. Goldie, he just clutches it and hugs it.
Yeah, love that.
So that's such a bummer. Because I was kind of, it was one of those things where it's like, but at the same time, like, honestly, I would rather him get the surgery and miss the time than him to try to put on a match like him and Gargano have been putting on every time they've locked up with a hurt neck, because that could end in him dying.
When I saw that he was going to undergo surgery, I didn't know it was the neck. I legitimately thought it could have been because you remember a couple weeks ago when he wrestled the tag match,
The bar where Sheamus landed on his knee,
and he did finish the match, but he kind of went out of it after that until the end. And I thought, oh, that's bad, because it looked bad.
It looked really bad.
It looked really bad. But I guess thankfully that didn't affect him. I say thankfully, his neck now. I mean, any of it's bad.
Thankfully it wasn't. Oh, he also screwed up his knee and he has this neck issue because this isn't a recent development. Apparently, he's been working through it for a while now.
Right.
So, but damn, that
sucks.
That sucks.
So I'm assuming do they have any speculation on how long it'll be out? I'm assuming no.
I mean, it's a minimum 12 months. Like that's
it's
neck surgery. Yeah, he's not like, I think the one that I saw when it was still rumored, it was 12 to 14.
I saw 14 to 16 is what I saw.
So it's minimum a year that he's just going to be.
Can you
gone.
imagine doing something that you love so much and something bad happens and you're out? You can't do that anymore for 12 months, for a year.
Yeah.
How crazy you must go, especially in a business that is as terrifying as wrestling, where every time you leave, there's a chance someone else might come and take your spot. You know, I think Ciampa's very hard to replace because I really do think he is special. But that's not to say that someone else might not become insanely popular.
Right. Well, I mean, look at what happened with Mustafa Ali.
Right.
Mustafa Ali got hurt,
Kingston,
and all of a sudden, and that led to this resurgence of Kofi Kingston, which we'll get to a little bit more on SmackDown. But no.
So it could be. I imagine Ciampa's probably thinking like, "Oh shit!"
Honestly, like
I'm riding the top of the world right now.
Right, and it's so that really sucks. That's such a bummer. But at the same time, like, to try to remain a little bit positive, he's got the backing of the WWE. He had, like, no doubt he's going to the best surgeon that is in America, like, and he's going to have, he's WWE takes care of their people.
Right.
So, like, he's still getting paid.
He's not going to be suffering.
I mean,
money-wise.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of fortune there, because you look at, the people in the independent scene, like how many of our friends...
Marco, Joey Janela.
Yeah, or not even that big, but just like...
Brandon.
People that we
Jonathan.
know... Yeah, people that we know that, like, they have 9-to-5s and they have, like, actual jobs and families that they have to support, and then have these giant medical bills that hit.
Because I remember when I first talked about my hernia surgery, Damone actually talked to me and was talking about how he still owes thousands on a surgery he got from wrestling because he didn't have insurance or whatever. And I'm like, man, that's scary. That's scary. Like,
yeah, but he was trying to be reassuring.
Yeah, he was trying to make me feel
as
better.
long as you're paying something, they can't do anything.
But that's terrifying in wrestling,
to have that
especially
hanging over your head. Yeah,
that this fake sport can end in such tragedy,
and so easily too.
Yeah,
like when you think about it, like literally everything, you take so much for granted watching people do this at the highest level, or like at the independent level. Like how easy it is to
hurt yourself
on the most basic thing, like everything legitimately.
There's not a single move in wrestling I don't think that couldn't like actually hurt you if you did it wrong.
Yeah.
Which is why they're trained professionals. Which is why guys who just want to show up to one show and wrestle a 5-minute match should just stay away and let the professionals do it. I have a little bit more sad news that I just saw. I don't know if this was already announced and maybe we just didn't catch up on it or what, but it was just put on 411 about Jim Ross.
I just saw it.
I did not see this.
It just went up. Jim Ross
He's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay,
Well,
I was like, well, because we've had our 3 already. Then we have the announcement that Alex Trebek has cancer.
That broke my heart.
That
absolutely broke my
I made
heart.
the mistake of watching that video.
Yeah. Because he's so upbeat about it.
Oh, well, good. I'm not going to watch it then.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, I don't recommend it.
I mean, he's super upbeat. He's
but
like, I'm going to fight it.
But it's that later.
Yeah. But Jim Ross has announced on his latest podcast that he is leaving WWE. PW Insider reports that Ross revealed on his latest podcast that his WWE contract ends on March 29th and that he and Vince McMahon have mutually agreed to part ways. So Jim Ross will be gone from WWE very, very at the end of this month.
I genuinely didn't know he was still with the company.
I knew he still was.
Yeah, I think he was doing some stuff, but I don't think he was
Because they were
doing
keeping him
anything
off.
major.
They were keeping him off in New Japan. That was the point. It was keeping him off that commentary.
I thought Ross was keeping Ross off commentary.
I mean, that could have been it too. After he got hit with that table.
I mean, yeah, I would be done with that. But I meant that more as a shot, which was unnecessary. So.
Oh, did you hear me earlier? Don't worry about it. You're fine. I think we should also mention, speaking of deaths and the 3 thing, that Luke Perry passed away. And it's important to mention that because, as Dalton pointed out in the group chat, that Luke Perry's son actually does wrestle Dalton.
Yeah, Jungle Boy.
In AEW.
Yeah, he got signed with AEW.
Yeah. So that's very, very sad. There's a thing on there about him paying tribute to his father, which also very sad. Luke Perry passing away. And then who was the other person that passed? I was also very sad about
He was
that.
the singer of Prodigy. Keith.
Yeah.
So it's Keith something or something Keith.
So, yeah,
I'm blanking on that.
It's been a rough week. It's been a rough life. But let's move on. Next story. This is good. This is a happy story. We got our new Hall of Fame entrant this week, and it's Torrie Wilson.
I don't know where you're going with your stuttering and stammering.
We're about to get the
You're
who
either-
deserves to be in it more.
Well, I was gonna say you're either upset at this or
Well, no, at first I was like, yeah, absolutely Torrie should be in there. But then I started to think, should Torrie be in there? Did she do a lot? And then I thought, well, she was in there for a long time. And then I thought, well, a lot of people have been in there a long time. Why Torrie Wilson? And so I started to struggle internally in my brain for a few seconds of, am I excited about this? Because I genuinely like Torrie Wilson. But she was never the best wrestler. She was never the best actress. She had longevity, and she was in WCW and did some stuff. She did some amazing things, but I don't know. Like, I'm happy for her. Don't get me wrong. And considering who else is in the Hall of Fame, she absolutely deserves to be in there.
And it's that thing. It's like you can never say no one. There is currently no one who doesn't deserve to go to the Hall of Fame.
No, everyone
aside
that
from
works
aside
deserves
from
to be in
people
there.
like Chris Benoit or people who are like total trash monsters,
Right.
Like people like that. But like no one from a performance standard doesn't deserve to go into the Hall of Fame at this point.
Like,
which is why I didn't say anything. I stuttered in my head, and then I kept going.
And they're like, yes, if you're treating the Hall of Fame as like a legitimate Hall of Fame, I think there are absolutely people who should be in before her. That doesn't mean that they're not like Victoria will eventually go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Molly Holly will eventually go into the
Mickey
Hall
James.
of Fame.
Molly Holly is in the Hall of Fame.
Shit, yep.
Mickey James.
Because I was about to say, Shannon, name one person that's not on the active roster that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. That's a woman, and you would be like Victoria, and I'd be like, and then you would be completely blank because literally everybody.
Mickey
Gail
James. Mickey James. Oh, she's still wrestling.
Active, yeah.
Doesn't count. Oh, shit. Jazz is definitely one that deserves to be on there.
Actively wrestling for NWA.
But not
Not
in WWE.
not
That
on the
doesn't-
roster.
That doesn't count.
Because Victoria,
China.
I mean, Victoria's.
She's in this year.
No, not single. I win.
Because like, Victoria's still wrestling, but like she's retiring this year.
Yeah.
Sable?
Sable's not in, no.
Oh, good. Sable. Again, I never thought she was the greatest.
Yeah, no, I mean,
But you
could-
cannot deny her
yeah,
contributions.
If you're gonna put Torrie Wilson in the same vein, you could almost put in. In the same vein, you put in Sable
Is
because
Stacy
she was.
Keibler in?
No.
Stacy Keibler?
Yeah, same thing as Torrie Wilson.
Yeah.
Like they were both.
Well, and Torrie Wilson also had a really good interview where like she mentioned like the reaction of a lot of people being mad that she's going in before
Which I disagree with.
these other women. But she's like, well, it's hard to understand. Like, it's easy for them to say that when they weren't the one speaking with Fit Finlay, trying to figure out what kind of match can I put together while I have to wear a bikini.
Yeah, no, and I'm not downing her at all. Like I am perfectly cool with it. I'm honestly okay with anybody going into the Hall of Fame because, in my opinion, and I know it's not WWE's fault, Owen Hart isn't in there, so like that's my block. And so like it's just like I mean I'm fine with anybody going in there. The only person that I'm gonna be like no F that is if they put Benoit in before Owen Hart, and they never will. Yeah. So like that. So I literally have no issue with the Hall of Fame ever, just because.
And
it's just
granted,
like,
I feel like it's not WWE's call that Owen
yeah,
Hart's
and
not
that's
in
what
it.
I said. I said like I know it's not WWE's call, but like if we're doing it based on like, well, this person should be in, like no, Owen should be in.
And do you think? Oh no, that's going to be controversial. I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you think if Owen Hart had not passed away, the call for him to be in the Hall of Fame wouldn't nearly be as strong?
He would already be in the Hall of Fame.
Would he?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of guys from that era that have never gone to the Hall of Fame yet.
They were not as good.
Well, a lot of people were good though. The only reason Owen Hart is held so highly up is one because he's a Hart, which good because I mean hearts are hearts, and that he passed away tragically. But I truly
I think
believe
you're completely discounting how talented
great
he
he
was.
was.
no,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to. I'm just saying that like
You just did because you said the only reason people talk about him is because he's a Hart and he's dead.
I said the only reason people speak about him so highly when it comes to the Hall of Fame is that if Owen Hart hadn't died and he was still, if he had just retired or if he was still wrestling indies or something, people would still say he deserves it. But whenever you talk about the Hall of Fame, the first thing people say is, well, Owen's not in it. And Owen was a group of a lot of people that were really good. And the only reason that he is talked about in such a high regard in that way is because he is dead. And I stand by that. That's not to say that he's not talented.
So, like,
I think a lot of I see, and I disagree completely. I think a lot of people look at like just how good he was.
Yeah, because do people only
and
talk
like
about,
yes, of course, because he's dead, that people are going because now he can't because that was it.
What we
got was what we got. Yeah, would he have just fizzled out and turned out to be lackluster?
I don't think he ever would have fizzled out.
We'll never know. But he also could have turned into the biggest thing they had.
But Owen Hart wrestled there for quite a long time, and he was successful as a tag team wrestler. He was successful as an Intercontinental wrestler. There was clearly he was never going to go for the world title. He was never going to be in a main event program in an extended time period, because if he had, he would have been already.
In the window that we had.
And that's what I'm saying.
That we've gotten to see.
And that's why I said if he hadn't passed away, do you think he would?
There's also a lot of dead wrestlers who are very talented that aren't getting nearly the attention.
That's true. I don't discount that.
So I don't think
again,
it's...
I hope no one listens to this going, oh, Shannon just shit all over Owen Hart. I love Owen Hart. I think he's an amazing wrestler. I'm just asking the question, as if Owen Hart hadn't passed away, would there be the same call? It's like China. If China hadn't passed away, would there be the same call now that she should be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, because there was that call...
Because that call was there before.
Before she died.
Because the Austin podcast was before she died, the one they did on the network. Mm-hmm. And that's when Triple H made that super awesome call of, well, when you Google her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good call. Yeah.
So, like, I mean, other people do get that call that aren't dead. Like, but it's just, that's whenever we're talking about the brick of, like, Hall of Fame, like, who needs to be and who doesn't, that will always be my one of just, like, well, he's not in it, so it really doesn't matter to me.
So, who was one other person that isn't dead that you think should be in there that's not? Honestly, I'm curious.
Jim Johnson.
I know it's
not a wrestling thing, but
yeah, because I agree with that, and I agree with Owen. I'm just, again,
Undertaker, Kane.
Is Undertaker really not in it?
Nope.
That honestly, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Taker and Kane.
But would you count him still as active?
No. I mean,
him and Kane are about the same level of active, aren't they?
I mean, I would put Kane as more active than him. Like just because I mean, before he won the mayoralship, like.
And dressed up like
he appeared,
Cat in the Hat.
He appeared more like he was He was on WWE TV more regularly than the Undertaker, like consistently. Also, like, and I mean, if we're discounting like people, like if we're not talking about part timers, because Triple H deserves to go in solo.
I still think Rick Martel,
Big Show,
Rick Martel, King Kong Bundy. Like there's a bunch, and he,
Yeah, but I say that that
is Ted DiBiase in the Hall.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Again,
most of those 80 guys are.
When it comes to me, if you're from the 80s and you're not in there, what about Tito Santana?
I think Tito Santana is also in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. So there's a bunch of people that I feel
I'll
like
Google it to double check myself to make sure I'm not talking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure.
Because I'm not familiar. I'm honestly like not familiar enough with the Hall of Fame because I don't. It's a cool moment, and I like watching some of the speeches, but I couldn't tell you like who went in when or who's even in it now.
I've always wondered why they never actually have made a physical Hall of Fame. Because that seems like that would be...
they probably just can't land on a location.
They make that floating one with... At
Mania.
Mania, because we went to that.
We
saw it. We didn't walk through it.
Is that the one that has like the big statues of Andre and guys like that?
I mean, I walked through it. But, I mean, and they have like... but it changes every year, so there's always more... Like, it has like people's gear and robes and things like that and like pictures and stuff like that. But it changes because the one that we saw... at this WrestleMania was different than, the one that I saw, 10 years ago at 27.
I feel like a physical Hall of Fame, especially with the popularity in wrestling and now with like independent wrestling becoming so big, I feel like that would be it's a good time to make a physical hall.
But where do you put it is the thing.
The Performance Center.
Yeah, but do you want to draw people to the Performance Center that you can't actively go with? Because it feels like the Hall of Fame should be a part of something. I don't necessarily think that a physical Hall of Fame is a strong enough attraction. I think what they do with WrestleMania is perfect.
Yeah.
I wish they would expand it more.
I think
other than take 5 minutes to walk through it.
Maybe Stanford or New York would be the only two places I could think.
Yeah, but they've done stuff in New York and it failed.
Yeah, but that was a restaurant.
They did stuff. They did a restaurant in Times Square, where it is the most expensive thing to do.
And I thought
New York's
that was a cool
call.
restaurant.
I don't think you do Stanford for the same reason.
Do you want to bring people to the headquarters?
to the corporate headquarters where there's no fan stuff there.
If you could put one somewhere in the vicinity, like I know it's not going to be right next to it, but like near Madison Square Garden or
something like that.
Yeah.
Near Madison, near MSG. Because that was the mecca of wrestling, especially for like people that are in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. That was the mecca of wrestling for them at the time.
Yeah,
And to answer your question, Santana went in 2004, and DiBiase went in 2010. And I should have known that because they were in that Target action figure line.
Man, it's hard for me to like grasp that that's how long the Hall of Fame has been going, because it's
Like 1995 was like the first one.
because it still feels like so way more recent
Yeah.
than that.
Let me make sure. It was Andre the Giant, and I feel like it was like 95.
Yeah, I'm looking it up too because I'm also curious, because I remember when I first heard about how long the Hall of Fame had been in, I was shocked at it.
But
93.
Nah!
Holy crap.
Literally.
93, and the first one was Andre was the only one in it.
Yep.
And then 94 was Bobo Brazil, Arnold Scotland, Buddy Rogers, Jay Strongbow, Freddie Blassie, Monsoon, and James Dudley. So,
And that was all 94.
yes.
94 was stacked AF.
And then
Yeah,
after
no
that, every
shit.
year they would do like 5 to 6 people. So,
No
yeah.
wonder they're. Man, yeah, and then you look at people like King Kong Bundy. Like, really?
He's not in there.
It took forever to get Macho Man in there.
But again, I think that had less
Turmoil.
to do with that had more to do with extenuating circumstances.
Ultimate
not
Warrior,
just-
same thing.
Yeah.
He didn't go in until they repaired the bridge.
right? Because they're
Which, going back to Owen Hart, is the reason Owen's not in, is because
Yeah.
that bridge will never be repaired.
Yeah.
More than likely. So I'm sorry for derailing everything with that. We're going to get back to it. Congratulations to Torrie Wilson. And whoever goes to the Hall of Fame. Like, I truly believe it. I don't think anyone is picked for the Hall of Fame just because, with the possible exception of Drew Carey.
About to say, yeah, the celebrity wing is very much
But they at least call it the celebrity wing.
Right.
Yeah,
Like they don't try to.
Right.
And I mean, the Warrior Award is fairly harmless besides the name.
Which, by the way, we didn't mention this. True story. Dana Warrior is now on the writing team for WWE.
Yeah, she is. Good for her. Bruce Pritchard's back. He's part of creative again.
That's true.
I'm
So
excited
You get
about
one
that.
good, you get one bad.
Oh, Pritchard is great.
And maybe Warrior, like, she'll knock it out of the park. She's got her husband's. Yep. All right, so moving on to Monday Night Raw. It was a pretty big show. Didn't mean to do that
Well.
voice with it. The thing that stands out most for me on this, and it's what I wanted to kind of talk about, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but it was the Triple H promo on Batista. And first off, before I talk about my thoughts, what did you think about it?
I mean, it was good. It was effective. I think it suffered from poor timing and there was nothing they could really do about it, because Raw had a theme, and Raw seems to have a theme, especially this week, of let's beat you over the fucking head with, hey, you know you're watching a show, right? This isn't real. My favorite part of The Walking Dead
Is when talk
Rick,
to you.
when Rick was like, oh man, see that particular zombie? He's acting like we actually have the same agent. Isn't that kind of neat? Like, oh no, I'm talking to you as Andrew. I'm talking like drops, it goes into his British accent. Like, I'm talking to you as Andrew. I'm talking to you as Andrew Lincoln. Ugh.
Yeah, that's the exact same thing I had with it.
Between the Rhonda bullshit on Twitter, between fucking Colin Jost hosting.
So I didn't get to see Colin Jost. Was it Jost and Shay?
Yeah, they were both there.
I didn't get to see any of it. Ali asked how they did, and I was like,
Jost
I don't know.
was being this antagonistic guy because they were in Philly and he's from New York, so he was wearing the Mets hat and it was cute. And then but then he goes up to he bumps into Strowman, asks him, "Is any of this even real?" Strowman then proceeds to hold him by the neck for an entire commercial break, and then puts him down, and he's just fine.
See, I hate that.
Yeah,
like
and
I didn't know any about
have,
that.
But then you have the one time that it actually would have been meaningful, with Triple H actually talking about his lifelong friend and mentor, and be like, no, you crossed the line. Triple H is Triple H, Ric Flair is Ric Flair, but we are more than that. What you see, there's more to that. We travel week in, week out. We've known each other forever. You can play with that, like he did. Granted,
But I think he went too far.
there was a specific line that he said that I'm blanking on. It doesn't really matter.
If it was the one I'm thinking of, it's when he said, "This isn't the character talking to
that,
you."
yeah. So that was a little
Too insider.
that's a little bit too much. And then compared to the rest of the shit that happened on the show, and then, like I said, Ronda literally just calling Rebecca Quinn, I don't care what the script says. Like,
All right, so
It's the one time we all agree with Jim Cornette.
Yeah, so I know you hated it, but there were a couple really good things to come out of that. One, in that Becky Lynch is just running circles around Ronda Rousey when it comes to
backwards.
that. And Tyler Breeze and Luke Harper's interaction.
That was amazing.
Legitimately incredible.
Better pick someone on TV though, bitch.
Someone hacked my account. Oh, you too, bitch.
That's my favorite. Someone hacked my account.
Did you
Me
see
too,
bitch.
Did you see him do the on Wednesday today? He tweeted like, "It's Wednesday. You know what that means?" And Rusev's response, or
No.
he retweeted it and was like, "You missed another day of TV, brother." That's the tweet of the week, by the way.
But
yeah, so like, other than, I think he went a little bit too far, and if it wasn't for the fact that any of that other stuff had happened, it would have been great.
Yeah, it would have been fine.
But combined, like, it wasn't in that bubble. And again, that might just be a very personal thing. Like, other people may not have had that issue. I loved Batista's response.
Yeah, we're gonna
of
do this
him
my
on
way.
Instagram, where he's literally just like, "No, I didn't have a prior obligation. I just don't want to be in that city. We're gonna play the game by my rules."
Which, all right, so that's when
Get
that's when I started to dislike the Triple H promo, because his whole like, you're gonna school me on how to be a bad guy. Oh, I hate the city, really, and like, it's like he's actively shitting. It's almost like Batista is playing character because this is a show. Triple H now comes out and shits on actor for portraying character, and then tries to put himself over as real person.
So Triple H,
yes.
like his career.
Yeah, and I really disliked it. Like, I don't want to say I hated it because he delivered it really well.
Yeah.
But the whole Richard Fliehr thing.
Yeah.
He never said, "You're not fighting Triple H. You're fighting John Paul Levesque." Yeah.
You're fighting Hunter. Like,
Yeah.
All right, Paul.
You got to play by the rules.
That Instagram video was great though, because there's nothing better than just Cheap Heat Batista.
Yeah.
God, I love Cheap Heat
Batista
Batista.
is a master.
Yeah, God, I love him.
And it kind of, to me, it almost exposed Triple H. And like, because we know Triple H is a great promo, and he did a great promo, but I just don't understand why you have to take it to okay, this is too personal level. Like, you could have said, Ric Flair has devoted so much time to this business, he's my best friend. You did that last week. You don't have to mention Richard Fliehr.
Yeah.
You don't have to mention this isn't a character talking.
It was unnecessary.
WCW 98, you know?
It wasn't that egregious. Like
WCW 99.
2001.
Okay.
Like, I thought it was fine. It's the one that's just really buggy to me is like the Colin Jost bit was a little like, all right, and then I don't know. It's the Ronda Rousey thing, because Hunter and I were like kind of in the group chat going back and forth about it. Like, because in ring wise, I don't have a single complaint about her. Like, she's very much like she's slowing down a lot, and like is really now just like grasping what she needs to do. But like her Twitter and mic work are just like it's the tale of two people.
Yeah.
Where it's like
this is you when no one's telling you what to do, and this is you when they're kind of guiding you.
Because like you have Ronda do all of her Twitter stuff. Rebecca Quinn, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I don't care what the script says. And then you have her like
so cringy.
Your armbar looks fake.
Well, yeah, that was Twitter.
Ugh.
But like the thing she said, like screw the man, boo the woo, and no more Mrs. Nice Bitch. But then she doesn't even hold the mic long enough to really register no more Mrs. Nice Bitch. And then that awkward ending. It was awkward. You can't tell me it wasn't, because it was. Like, I have a theory of what happened there.
Apparently they were stretching for time.
Yeah, because whenever somebody asked me, I was like, I think Ronda was told 5 minutes and only had 2 minutes of stuff to do, which is common.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's only the really one that's like really bad to me. Is like, if you're gonna have her be like that on Twitter, you need to have her be like that on.
Well, she
the
doesn't
show.
need to be like that on Twitter. Is the big thing.
Well, no, I mean it's
No.
a choice.
No,
Whenever
it's
you-
awful and it's trash and no one will ever convince. And granted, we're guilty of it because look at CCW and what we're doing right now.
Yeah, like.
But I don't go onto Facebook and go like, Dalton, I don't care that we do podcasting together. I'm gonna legitimately beat the shit out of you at the next show. Like the thing that like the most cringy thing I've probably heard in a long time, more so than Roman Reigns talking about the shovel with John Cena burying people, is when Ronda Rousey actually said, "I don't care what the script says, Rebecca Quinn, I'm going to beat the shit out of you."
Remember when Andrew Lincoln told
I don't care what
John
the script says.
John Barenthal
Yeah.
that like, hey, again, I'm British now.
Yeah.
This is a British accent.
It's good.
Hey, I know I'm not gonna wait until the season finale to kill you.
I'll stab you now. Spoilers.
Oh, yeah, that's my bad.
Oh, season 1, you're good.
Season 2, to be fair.
Was it 2?
He died in 2.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
Herschel died.
That show died. That show died long ago.
It did. Still crawling
it's
around
become
like an
its
undead
own
zombie.
zombie.
Damn it. I was making the joke. You were mocking at the same time. So now I feel bad.
Jokeception.
No, yeah, honestly, like, if you take away all of the Twitter bullshit, because that greatly soured me on Rhonda,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Does she have a filter on Twitter?
I like the idea.
Obviously not.
I like the idea that she is now like that they turned her.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she was never going to get cheered alongside Becky.
No,
No.
and she's doing that smiling baby face. I'm happy to be here still.
But she acknowledged that. Like,
Yeah.
I love the way that they did turn her, where
Yeah.
she's like, no, okay, I don't care about showing respect to this business. I tried that, and you still booed me out of my home arena.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guess what? Now we're done with that. Now I'm actually going to come and, like...
F you up for
Yeah.
real. So when I said does she have a filter, I don't mean like does she watch what she says. What I mean is like someone in wrestling is either paying attention to what she's saying in WWE or they're telling her what she can say or they're telling her what to say.
Neither.
And that baffles me because like if
I'm sure she probably got an email about, like, hey...
maybe don't do that.
Maybe don't flat out remind people that this is fake.
Or cuss.
We need
or say
Triple H.
shit.
We need Triple H to do that.
Yes.
You're taking his spot.
Batista, I don't care if the script
like if-
says I'm supposed to come out. It's almost like
It would be
when
like if-
Justin Smart carried the fucking script to an interview and read from it that we helped write for him, and he's reading it on there. Oh, they want me to say this and that. Like, okay, I get this is a new age of wrestling, and that like everyone knows it's fake, but goddamn, there has to be some line that you don't cross. You know? I'm sorry, that's my cornet coming out,
Yeah, no.
but this was just cringeworthy.
Yeah,
Keep her. If you ignore Twitter, she's actually not so bad.
Yeah. No, I've been a fan of Ronda since she's come to WWE, other than Twitter.
Allie, thoughts?
Food.
Yes.
Ronda Rousey, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Okay, good call. Anything else on Raw? Oh yeah, actually, the Shield reunion. We got the Shield reunion again.
Which, thankfully, this is the thing. This is the type of like lack of logic that I can't stand in professional wrestling, and it's professional wrestling is the only place we see that. Rollins and Reigns want to reunite the Shield because Dean Ambrose won't resign. Reigns has this cancer scare has taught him that tomorrow's not guaranteed. I thought that was a little cringy. Not super digging that they're leaning this hard on it this soon. But he
delivered the line fine.
I'm not talking about his performance at all. I am talking about the material that I personally do not enjoy.
Fair enough.
So Reigns and Rollins are they like Rollins. Okay, Rollins says, "For you, I will do it because you're my brother, you're my best friend. Seeing you come out and say you're in remission was one of the best moments of my life. So I am willing to put all of this personal beef aside for you. I dig that. That's cool." Ambrose says no because he's frustrated with the loss and blah, blah, blah. He then is halfway up the stairs, up the Shield stairs, and that's when we're going to poke the bear. Oh, he already quit. We can get away with this. No, you've won. Come out and brag about it on Sunday. Like, there's no point for you to come down and then initiate a 3-on-2 beatdown or a 4-on-2 beatdown. I don't remember who all went out there. So thank God that Corbin came out so that Ambrose had the fire. He didn't want to see his brothers go down like that. So now we're getting the shit. We're getting the shit. Is it a 4-on-3 handicap match?
I think
it's
Has it been announced yet?
I think it's 3-on-3, but Rush is in the corner.
But they've added Elias.
Oh,
Because it's Lashley, McIntyre, and Corbin, and then Elias has been starting that mini feud with Ambrose.
So I'm digging at to mention this before I forget about it because you just sparked my memory when you said cringeworthy lines and stuff like that. The thing I hated that Triple H said that really bothered me was when he said, "I was there when he buried his son," and fuck you. Why does that need to be said? That does not need to be said.
Meanwhile, Charlotte is also on that show. Just woo.
Yeah,
I get a championship match.
That bothered me so much.
She was fine
you have to pull that card. Why did you have to pull that card?
For that emotional gut punch, man.
I hated it.
That's how personal this is.
I hated that so much. That was the thing I despised most from Monday was I was there when he buried his son. And like, even if you were, again, this is professional wrestling. Like, maybe I guess it does have some emotional weight to it, but it feels so rushed. Batista didn't like kill Ric Flair. Batista didn't permanently injure Ric Flair. As far as we know, Batista just ruined his party. And you're bringing up this like you're acting like he went full on.
What if he saved his life? He drug him out to get attention because he wasn't in gorilla position.
Maybe Ric Flair was having a heart attack and Batista dragged him out and was like, help this man. We don't know for sure.
Do you have my attention now? I've been yelling for 30 minutes.
He's dying. Instead, they're acting like Batista went full on like Frank Castle and murdered his entire family. And I hated it. So I just want to point that out. That I think that is lazy, just tasteless writing. It's not as bad as when Paige talked about him.
Yeah, I bet Charlotte's real happy about hearing that again.
Literally like 2 weeks later. Ronda Turn, Shield reunion, and Jostin Shea. Those were the only things that were really my big takeaways for
That's all I got. What about SmackDown?
SmackDown, Mustafa Ali made his return to help Kevin Owens even the odds against Daniel Bryan and Rowan.
What did Kofi do?
Yeah, Kofi's in India.
Oh, that's right.
So he was not on. You have your hottest babyface, who still got Kofi chance because people still wanted to see it. But yeah, he and the New Day are in India doing a promotional tour. I still very much want to believe that the reason Kofi got pulled from Fastlane is because they are switching the Owens story that was supposed to be at Mania, and they are putting Kofi in that spot now.
I hope so.
It's that thing where it's like I'm hoping because there is like 30% of me that thinks that they're not doing it, that they are just.
Oh no, I'm very convinced that they're not going to do it at all.
That they're just screwing Kofi.
I don't hear that.
So, but I believe in Kofi. I believe in Kofi Mania. So I truly hope that's a thing. R-Truth did another U.S. title open challenge in the spirit of his hero John Cena. That Samoa Joe won the Fatal 4-Way so he gets his first main roster championship match. Immediately then calls out John Cena kinda by saying he doesn't believe in hustle, loyalty, respect, or something like that. So I don't know if that's what they're gonna go for, maybe like Joe and Cena at Mania.
I'd watch that.
Have we seen that yet?
We have not.
Okay.
That's a dream match as long as Joe wins.
Yeah, but what happened to Cena at last WrestleMania?
Yeah, he ain't get shit on twice.
Yeah.
He ain't getting Kid Cobra'd.
So, but that was cool. That was a cool moment. They also announced that Andrade and Rey is going to be the Fastlane pre-show match. So I'm going to be watching the pre-show.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's a pre-show match?
Well, get them. Don't want to let all the fans see it in case, everyone else that has to follow it. AJ Styles was cutting a promo about how much Kofi deserves a championship match. Randy Orton's just like, really? You're talking about how much someone else deserves a title match? Yeah, no wonder it took you 15 years to get here.
Jeez.
Dug that.
Wine of the night.
I love heel ass Orton. Just fucking asshole Orton is my favorite Orton.
Rabbit ass mouth.
There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about that I don't remember what it was. Kofi wasn't even there. Ali's back. Nope. Yep. That was it.
So Raw was definitely the more other than the title change.
Asuka was able to got physical with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. There was that injury scare. She got the match was stopped on Monday night.
Yeah,
but she physical. That match is still being advertised. So
do you think that? Well, we'll talk about it.
She tweeted about it too, like how it wasn't her back, it wasn't her neck or her. It was like she landed on her back funny or something like that. But
that's good.
She's very enthusiastic about still being around.
Asuka is one of my favorite people to like. I love her Twitter and her Instagram.
She's so wholesome.
She is. She just posts the cutest pictures all the time. All the time. All right, let's talk about Fastlane. That is this Sunday, believe it or not. I got the card pulled up here. Do you have the card already?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I got the card here. We're gonna go over these matches real quick and talk about them on the QT. That's quiet time. Andrade versus Rey Mysterio, as we just mentioned, will be the pre-show.
Yep.
That's gonna be stupid. With 3 stutters. The Revival, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson versus Aleister Black and Ricochet versus Chad Cable and Bobby Roode for the WWE Tag Team Championship, Raw Tag Team Championship. And boy, if you've been watching wrestling lately, you would go, well, the underdogs are the champions because they can't stop losing.
No, they
won. Did win on Raw, didn't they?
They won on Raw because Gable and Roode attacked them on the outside because they were there for some reason.
Yes. So I think clearly you don't put the titles on Aleister Black and Ricochet, or you do to hotshot it, which may be a thing that they do.
I don't think. No, I think Revival finally gets a
Decisive
win.
victory.
Yeah, until WrestleMania when they lose to Hawkins and Ryder. Well, no, maybe not.
No,
because
please don't say anything else. Let me just have that.
do you remember what happened on Raw?
Oh, where Hawkins and Ryder lost again?
Well, they did, but do you remember who else lost on Raw? The entire Raw tag division.
To who?
Because there was a video of the Ascension and Hawkins and Ryder and the B Team and whoever else is a tag team making fun of Heavy Machinery.
Yeah.
And Heavy Machinery goes like, well, when Otis's feelings get hurt, he hurts people. So they beat every tag team in a gauntlet match.
Yep.
Cool.
Remember that?
It's gonna be super awesome whenever somebody like feuds with him. And it's gonna be like, Otis, you're just a really nice guy.
Otis,
And
I think
he
you have a
can't
lovely
bring himself to
personality.
hit somebody.
No, yeah.
Maybe they'll do a thing where he's like catatonic, but then you ring a bell and he starts
Screw
fighting
you.
you.
I
What?
love
He's
Festus.
throwing things at me.
Did you know biscuits?
because of the words you're saying.
Biscuits and gravy.
Did you know they made him a
Going
man?
home.
Remember the great feel-good story, legitimately, of Zack Ryder and
And Kane shoving him off the ramp with in the wheelchair.
No, Kurt Hawkins, with them coming together and like him trying to help his best friend.
And now they're just petty.
And nothing- yeah.
that NXT guys are getting their spot.
Way to screw up a sure thing. Like, good on you. Every time someone says, well, WWE can't do anything more than stupid than this, they have another beer, and you can hold it. Charlotte Flair, Ashley Flair versus, because it's personal now.
Oh, yeah.
With that entire Flair family.
Yep.
Ashley
Oh.
Flair versus Rebecca Quinn.
That was the other thing because Ronda vacated the title. I didn't vacate the title. I just told you to fix stuff. I want to fight Becky. Well, I want to fight Rebecca. Okay, well, you're not stripped of the title. You're still the champion. And now instead of a women's title match, this is if Becky wins, she gets added to the WrestleMania main event that she already earned because she won the Royal Rumble. But Vince then decided, nah. And Stephanie was like, you know what? Screw the old man. You're not suspended. You get a match. Oh, by the way, were you going to do anything for Kofi? No? Cool. These rules only kind of apply. Sometimes I'm going to quit. Holy God. White hot room.
I was waiting for him to get there.
Well,
Jesus.
remember when the McMahons came out and said, we messed up. And
You're the authority now.
Oh, there it is. There it is. So, yes, if Rebecca Quinn wins, if Quinn, wrestling woman, wins, she'll get back into the match against...
Fuck you for that. I heard that.
That was a solid pull, by the way.
It's baffling. Ronda drops the title, says this is worthless, leaves, comes back the next week when they're like, she's like, oh, no, I still want the title.
No, it's mine. Like, I'm still champion.
Oh, it's a mess. What an effing mess. We got the Shield, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, the big dog, and Seth Rollins, the architect, going up against Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. So it is 6 man.
Okay, so it is
3 on
okay.
3. Yeah.
I didn't know. Because, like I said, I feel like Elias is going to get interjected there.
More than likely.
Because
and Leo Rush probably.
Well, Leo Rush, yeah, but he's gonna be.
He's gonna get Cerberus
already
bombed so
He's
hard.
already out there because of Lashley, whereas Elias doesn't really have a reason to be out there other than he's feuding with Dean.
By the way, that spear, not even a spear, the shoulder tackle from Braun onto Leo on Raw. every
Is he still flying?
Yeah, every reply I saw to that was like, we just witnessed child murder. He killed that little kid. We got Asuka defending the women's title against Mandy Rose. I'm actually kind of excited about this match because I like both.
I genuinely think this match could surprise a lot of people,
Yeah.
only because everyone knows how good Asuka is, but I think a lot of people are sleeping on how good Mandy Rose is.
Well, because they portrayed her so much as kind of the temptress manipulator that they haven't really showcased that she can wrestle. So
Yeah, she's Eva Marie if Eva Marie could wrestle.
She got a pretty good highlight in the Elimination Chamber tag match.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I, again, love her and Sonya Deville so much together. Demandy's Donuts. My favorite thing. The Boston Hug Connection, Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax and Tamina. This will be the match that I am most afraid of. Not because I'm afraid Nia's going to hurt someone. I'm just afraid they're going to win.
It's Sasha's championship defense curse.
Yeah. Has she ever defended successfully?
Ever. Like once.
Yeah. Not often. Not often.
I actually do think they're going to put them on Nia and Tamina. I really do.
I don't, because I think they might be going for like a highlight match at Mania of Sky Pirates versus Sasha and Bayley.
Io Shirai and Kairi Sane.
I'm just letting it soak in. The name Sky
Have you not
Pirates.
heard? Have you not heard Sky Pirates?
No, that is so cool. I love that. Daniel Bryan's defending the WWE Championship against Kevin Owens.
That match will be good.
Was Kofi Kingston.
I don't. This is the one that I don't know what's going to happen. I do not think that Kevin Owens leaves WWE champion, but I don't know how we get there.
Right.
Does Daniel Bryan get a desperately needed just singles victory?
Or does Eric Rowan just cheat?
Or Rowan cheat? Do the New Day get involved?
Does
Is my
Kofi
big-
come out and...
Right. That's where I kind of think. So I kind of think they might do a triple threat like Kofi Owens.
What about
Bryan?
New Day come out and decimate both of them? And Kofi just kind of stands over and says, this was my spot. I earned this.
It's too Healy.
It's way too heelish, but it would be kind of cool.
Healy. I went with
Healy.
Healy.
Heelys.
Healier.
And then I don't think this is the main event, but it's what's listed on Wikipedia. Usos defending against Miz and Shane McMahon.
We might get 2 back-to-backs where the WWE Championship is the main event.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in this. I want to see what happens. I think that'd be very, very cool.
Usos and Shane, it was good the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I feel like this is probably going to be the Shane and Miz breakup
Yeah.
night.
The big question is who breaks
they'll
who?
do or they'll do it on Tuesday after they lose.
Who turns heel?
Yeah.
Miz.
Shane.
I think Shane.
I think Miz.
I mean, neither would surprise me. I'm not saying that,
They're both
you're
good
wrong.
heels.
It's just
Which is great considering how much I hated Shane McMahon as a bad guy when he first came in.
and the amount of
Oh.
and just the amount of I lost my train of thought completely.
The amount of...
Biscuits and gravy.
Yes, I know the words that I was saying. I don't remember what was supposed to come after
I'm
them.
trying to jog your memory. Don't be mean to me.
How over the top Miz has been as the good guy.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of leaning
It's
hard
facetious.
into trying. No, I kind of think they're trying to lean really hard to establish the fact that no, this is a different Miz.
Oh, so
and
you think it's genuine?
Yeah, I think they're going to try to make him look as sympathetic as possible, so that when Shane eventually does break his heart, the crowd will receive that sympathetically, as opposed to Miz, who's been a heel for 14 years now.
Yeah.
And
He's getting the pops. He's getting the pops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miz is a great talent.
He's proving a lot of people wrong, because there's so many people who say he wouldn't be able to, that Miz as a face would never work.
Man, what a journey Miz has had in his career. From joke, who couldn't remember her phone number, to great tag team with John Morrison, to great singles run, to fantastic singles run, to where he is now.
It's a bummer that he's probably going to die in the next 5 years, because he clearly has sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah. But that's to work safe. Like he told Daniel Bryan, he's always here. That's that devil in him. All right, lastly tonight, I said lastly, not the Almighty.
God, that's such a good nickname.
It's so good. Lastly, we're going to talk about Stride. Stride had their Strideaversary event over the weekend, and we were all there in attendance. Some of us for more successful reasons than others, because some of us lost titles.
I was about to say some of us didn't lose titles that night.
It was a fun show. It was a fun show, and I hope you guys all went out to see it. It had some of my favorite things I've probably seen in Stride yet, and the RWO, which was pretty cool. So here's the great. It was great to see Dalton wrestle with Dexter going up against Billy and Elijah.
I've honestly...
Shit.
First
time I've ever done that.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I've really appreciated like the last I've been wrestling them guys for like 3 months. Or like in some form like the last 2 to 3 months getting to be in the ring with Elijah and Billy.
He did it too.
I'm sorry. It's just how
He's shooting, brother.
Elijah Fleer.
I'm calling him that now. That's his new fucking name.
With that hair.
Yeah.
I get the feeling he would do a killer flare strut.
Oh, yeah.
I probably would. But like getting to be in the ring with them's a lot. I learn a lot every time. I think every time we have a match, we get better. Like that tag team set. Billy is what? Stop it.
No, I'm just working my arms out.
Billy. Like I appreciate all. Like anytime I get to be in the ring with Billy, like against or with, like I learn a whole lot from. Yeah, Garrett's fine.
Who's Garrett?
Who's Garrett?
Dexter's okay.
Oh, my favorite part about it was that
Boo! There you go. I'm bringing it back.
this is the first time I've got to see you wrestle.
Yeah, it was the first time like
as a
you
bad
two.
guy. Yeah. So as a bad guy in CCW, and I know you do the same thing with me. When you see me working in CCW as a bad guy, you're a bad guy in Stride. You kind of watch and go, "What does he do versus what I do?
Yeah.
How does he do it?" So me watching you wrestle as a bad guy was a lot of fun. Seeing you smack Billy around and like dare him to get up when you have to be more reserved in CCW. It was very cool to see, and I thought it was a fun match. I am sorry that you guys lost the titles, but hopefully there is more gold in your future, or silver, whatever it is.
I'm just happy I get to wrestle for him.
That's the best way to look at it. Win, lose, or draw. Like, just be the people that are just happy to do it. You know, what are we doing?
That cord just always bothers me.
Oh, okay. Other great, Cash Borden versus Jay Spade. I can't heap enough praise on what an incredible matchup that was.
My only complaint is that where we were seated, we kind of only got to see a little bit of when they left the ring and like we're going around and grading each other's faces on the fence.
Yeah. Allie's favorite part of that was when he bit the lemon. Because she could not understand if that was a real
ripped it
lemon.
in half
Yeah.
because so much juice came out of it. I thought it was like a bottle of lemon
No,
juice.
it was
One of
a-
those lemon juice.
No,
I thought it was.
yeah.
It was like,
No, it was a for real lemon. I found it after we cleaned up.
No, because that was I loved that match.
Yeah.
After further events that happened, I'm kind of bummed that we're not going to get to see more of that.
Right.
But when we determined the new #1 contender, that concern was quickly soothed because I am very excited to see those matches too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rolling the barbed wire bat and then the lemon was just it's not the reaction they were going for, but I about died laughing.
When he
Well,
started
because
cutting
it
them
was
with the paper and then pouring
Yeah,
the
the
lemon
paper.
on.
Well, the paper was rough, but no, when he pulled the lemon and I realized what it was, and then he just squeezes the
It was
juice
like
all
it was
over
like
his
a damn
back.
vampire just
And then it's
pouring the blood out.
And then of course it's Jay Spade, and I love the way that he sells like $1 million
That
every single
literally
time.
like the best selling guy that I've ever got to like wrestle, because I have wrestled Jay a couple times, and like he has helped me so much in Cape. Because like I did the slipped vertebrae cell
Right.
whenever I took the power bomb into the chair.
Oh, I noticed.
Yeah, like, and it's something I learned from him.
Right.
Like, and because you learn later on in the show, like, who the person in the mask was.
Some earlier than others.
Yeah, and I was just watching him, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, like when he gets punched, the way he throws his arm, it's the exact same way I throw my arm.
Yeah.
Just because that's who I learned so much, and that he was. I was so excited just for that match because I've never got to see Jay do that. I've seen Cash do that on Facebook a lot, and I'm just like, oh, you're really good at
bite lemons.
just killing people.
Oh yeah. No.
Also,
Cash,
that bat, totally real.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
it's Cash.
Yeah.
I assume so.
Cash Borden has quickly become like one of my favorite just wrestlers in general.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like I remember the first time we saw him, I thought he was pretty good, but like stepping it up, like his gimmick, his character, his look, his attitude, everything is spot on.
He makes me go out of my way to watch a show that I wouldn't normally see in a style of matches that I wouldn't normally like, but him and Freaks R Us.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
him, Marley, and Mondo
And
as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say Mondo?
Fuck, I did say
Madman Pondo.
Jesus Christ,
Okay.
Madman. Because my brain,
I was like, wait a minute, nope,
I
not a
didn't
bear.
want to say that. Jesus Christ, because I didn't want to say the whole thing, so I combined
And
Madman
Pondo.
and Pondo, and it came out as
Yeah, it was
Mondo.
Pondo. I was like, wait a minute, because you said Mondo, and I was like, that was not right.
Jason, please don't book Pondo to CCW because I don't want to have to try to look him in the eye.
Knowing that you-
He'll never hear this, but just knowing I fucked that
No,
up
because
so
the moment you tell
righteously.
Jason not to do it, Jason will tell him, "Hey, here's what Acer said about you."
Oh no, worst possible. Okay, then the worst possible scenario is we get to see Pondo again at CCW.
And
oh
he was super
no.
cool. We talked about soup.
But no, like, because I love the Freaks R Us stuff that they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, so anytime he posts like videos of matches, like I'll go out of my way to like make sure I watch those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so good. I'd love to see him in CCW. Love to see him in CCW. Another like, there was nothing on the show. I joke, but there was nothing on the show that was bad. There was a Rumble match, which was pretty cool.
Which is neat. Like that.
I want to throw my entire support, by the way, behind
Zoe Moore.
Yeah, formerly known as Stella Swole. She keeps it 100. And we had a conversation, and she now has the blessing of 100. So you can use that.
I do.
And if you ever come to Cape,
I
you
did
have to
love.
be on my
I
side.
did love that where she
The douchiest of bags.
Yeah.
where she her turning on Will Power was the
Yeah.
highlight of that match
Was-
by far. And so I was a little bit bummed to see her not win it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like as soon as it happens, like they're treating her like a big deal. This could be like a
Yeah.
big thing, which she's still got a huge spot and like a huge reaction to
Yeah.
that too. But
And it was all trainees, right? Like those were the new faces.
Minus
Plus,
like
RWO
Magnifico.
and Magnifico and
Yeah, so like I got to see all the people that I train with all the time, like get to be in a match, and that means a lot to me, just because those are people that like I get to like see on a weekly basis. Like I see them just as much as I see you guys, pretty much.
yeah, sadly enough. Son of a bitch.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like, I need to know where that's coming from.
No, you're being honest.
But it was cool to get to see them all do that. Zoe, Trishina, like, whenever I started, I think she started like a week before me at Stride. So I had a couple months experience, like, just before that. But, like, we've kind of grown together, and it's really cool to see. Like, I was super happy when she had the match at West Frankfurt. I'm super excited what she gets to do up and coming. Like,
yeah, she did well in this. Like, she came out of that feeling like a big deal.
Yeah,
that's the important thing.
Like,
same thing for Will Power. I also want to mention Will Power. Also, I like it. Oh man, didn't he come out with a shake weight?
He did.
I
love Will Power so much. It's that perfect mix of goofy and, like, are you serious, to where it's like, no, I'm all behind this.
I'm behind it.
Somebody, so, like, those amazing trash bag websites that we were talking about, like, somebody posted a Will Power promo, and it was funny because he literally did not have anybody, like, shit on him.
Yeah.
It was literally people being like, oh, dude, I get it. And being like, if you don't come out to Olivia Newton-John's Let's Get Physical, you're doing it wrong. And like actually being supportive of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's how good that character is.
Well, sometimes all it takes is a good name and a gimmick. Will Power.
My only complaint,
brainless.
Aside from like her not winning it, my only complaint is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, we didn't really get a lot of them together.
We got one night of it.
Okay, so
because it was the tournament that Will and I both lost in the first round.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would have been cool to be able to have that be a little bit of a longer thing before they did the turn.
Yeah, because Will Power and Stella Swole. Come on.
But like you said, like just the names themselves, that's enough to really, like, because the crowd, even if they hadn't seen him before, like, oh, we get it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that's immediately like.
Well, it's like the first
cheesy,
CCW show.
It's cheesy and it's over the top in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Like, I do not mean that as a slight at all.
First CCW show. So Davey Vega comes out. A lot of people there weren't familiar with him.
Mm-hmm.
Hollis Joe. But the moment Sexy Sarge O'Reilly comes out, porn star, everyone's like, oh, I love this. I can relate to this without knowing anything about him.
Right.
Billy Hill's the same way.
Yep.
Redneck, all that. The other thing I want to mention, and there's some other stuff on the card too. We don't have a lot of time, but I do want to mention Heath Hatton. Yes, I got it right.
You did it.
I almost said Tyler because I've been doing that a lot lately. Heath Hatton and Tony Flood put on a 60-minute Iron Man match. And we thought immediately, oh, they're going to doctor the clock. They did not. It was 60 minutes of pure octane with 5,200 bottles of water under the ring. The ring was actually made of water. It was a water ring.
No.
And they just sucked the ground whenever they got tired.
No, for real, Jerry kicked half the water bottles in the middle of the ring during his match.
Son of a bitch.
Because I need Tony, because I know Tony's listening. Tony, I need you to know that wasn't me, that was Jerry. Because I made the jokes in the back that I was going to do it, and he said he was going to kill me, and then he found out that they were in the middle of the ring.
So instead, you're just going to throw T-Dog under the bus.
The person that rightfully did it,
throw him under the bus, who has been nothing but sweet. No, it was, and I love the way that they incorporated the water bottles.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't try to be sneaky about it. Like, it's one of those things, it's like, no, these guys are wrestling for an hour.
An hour. And not just like rest holds, punches. Like, they were wrestling for an hour.
To do a table spot in an Iron Man match.
At the end.
The Mad Men did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I know, I thought the match went a little long, and I mean that. It was an hour.
Yeah.
I would have probably been happier with a 30-minute Iron Man match, not because they're not good enough, because I have been conditioned that once it gets past a certain point, I'm kind of like, oh, when are we going to wrap this up? Because I have a short attention span at this point.
But now we know exactly when they're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And that is 58 minutes away for you.
It is an endurance thing. And I made the joke because I imagine if you're in the ring, and Dalton, you can probably test it better than anybody. When you're in the ring, I'm sure a minute feels like 20.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they were in the ring wrestling. They were like, okay, that was probably about 15 minutes. They look over, it's been 3 minutes. They go, shit, there's 57 more minutes of this.
Yeah, that's a thing. Like, that's a real thing. Like, you get told you get to do 8 to 10. And
you think you're getting close to that, and it's like, no, you got 6 to
6
go.
minutes left, buddy.
Dude, I'm not smiling.
Yeah, no.
That's a thing. I could never imagine doing a 60-minute, and I applaud both of them. Like, I watched all of it. Like,
tip my hat to both.
They
of those
should
guys.
absolutely be proud of themselves.
Yeah,
because like that is a feat. That is an accomplishment.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it was just.
It was a spectacle.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen anything like that in indie wrestling. I've only seen 2 Iron Man matches my entire life. Obviously, Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, which I think is the gold bar.
Right.
That's where everybody tries to be. And then there was one on Raw, but it was Seth Rollins.
Oh, that
think.
was a pay-per-view.
It was Rollins and Ziggler.
That's what it
I'm
was.
also
crowd ruined that one.
I'm very upset that you didn't mention I'm going to say the best Iron Man match. Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar on SmackDown.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh my, that is like, and honestly,
That's ignorant.
your two options are either Sean Brett or Lesnar Angle.
Right, and I grew up during that era, so Sean Brett, I was a teenager, and like seeing Sean, because Sean was my favorite wrestler, seeing him win the title.
I made my mom rush me home after my sister's volleyball game so I could watch the Iron Man match.
With Angle and Brock. Well, Tony and Heath really did a great job, and again, like the fact that they did it alone, they should get credit for it, and the fact that it wasn't boring, the fact that it kept interest. Some people did leave, but I think that's again because this is an hour-long match, and a lot of wrestling fans just can't handle sitting in one spot watching the same match for an hour.
American fans definitely can't, for the most part.
So credit to them. We also got the payoff for who the ninja was, the ninja master turned out to be
Jay Spade.
Jay Spade.
Which I want to thank those kids that were running around saying, you suck, Jason. And apparently they also said you suck, Jay.
I heard at least one of them was saying Jay Spade.
Yeah. So
I think it was the older one.
Thanks, kids.
Yeah.
Kids make everything better.
Especially when you're standing in front of ticket holders.
Our favorite part of that, God damn it, I'm going to tell the story. At one point, these kids are sitting in front of us the entire time.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you kids ever heard of the Momo Challenge? And Ace was like, you should take it.
I miss sitting by you guys at shows.
After 30 minutes of, because poor Jay is like selling like against the railing next to Kevin, next to us.
Yeah.
And these kids are just standing there screaming at him.
They're heckling him the entire time.
Like partially blocking our view.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, all right, well.
I saw you guys from the back, and I was like, they're pissed.
Oh, you little shit birds, is what I wanted to say.
That's why and eventually, I feel like this wasn't part of it. Like he wasn't getting in position. He just finally got fed up with all of them.
Yeah.
So Jay gets up and moves to the other side of the ring.
Or he felt bad for us.
Or he was just done. And so they're like, "Oh, we made him leave." So, and I feel like I should apologize to Jay for this because I was like,
talking about
"You
throwing
guys
somebody
should
under the bus."
You should follow him,
And they did.
and they did.
They did.
Yeah.
But
They
it meant
followed
they
him
weren't
wherever
in front
he
of
went.
us anymore.
Oh, it was a nightmare. But that was really cool. And then the big surprise of the night, making his return to Stride after months of being gone. We haven't
Over a
seen
year.
him. Haven't seen him. He's been nowhere near the ring. Red Daniels came back.
Looking great. Just
he did. He looked fantastic.
Not a
ring rust.
speck of ring rust on him.
Yeah. He must have been practicing.
He hasn't stopped wrestling at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much so.
Incredible.
Well, they dug him up.
So
It was like a ghost
full,
or a wraith of a wrestler.
like a specter.
Yeah. It was crazy. But he really did look good. He looked amazing.
And they did he got the full Shane McMahon treatment.
He won the Stride Cup
won a
earlier.
tournament in one match.
Yeah.
Wins the Stride, but then he cashes in and
I think it's also real quick important to mention Axe Allworth versus
Jay Wells.
Beauregard. That Beauregard cracks me up. And Axe is always just a treat to see.
One of these days he'll get what's coming to him.
One of these days.
Both of them
Beauregard.
actually. And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's a pile driver that Axe delivers onto Beauregard.
Yeah. Cause and effect.
It's like Axe Heaven is Beauregard Hell. It's like, oh, they're up there chasing squirrels in heaven. Like when a dog dies, oh, they're up chasing squirrels in heaven. Well, it's dog heaven is squirrel hell. It's a very convenient system.
Right. Red also came back to the end of the night and cashed in.
Because Heath won the Iron Man match.
He won the Iron Man match after an hour of hell. Heath won. And then Red came out, cashed in, beat Heath for the title. Your new champion, Red Daniels. It was an unexpected moment. Red got an insane reaction.
Yeah.
Really ended the show strong. They've got their next show, I think, on the 23rd.
Yep.
Which is the same day as CCW, so unfortunately we can't go to that one. But it was cool. It was very cool. I hope you guys went and checked it out. If not,
and so also Joey, because we never actually said it, but Joey O'Reilly is the new #1 contender to Cash Bourne's Legacy Championship.
Yep.
I'm super excited to see those matches.
he beat Jason Tiller.
Yeah.
Also, I was kind of sad that I didn't get to see Bo Sawyer wrestle because I've never seen him wrestle. I don't think. And when he came out, it was kind of like when I saw Matthias for the first time. I remember thinking when I saw Bo Sawyer, I was like, "But that guy, he looks legit."
He's a lot of fun. Like he's one of those people that when he came out with the Midwest Monster Hunters,
he only hits kids that are adopted.
That aren't adopted.
That aren't adopted.
Yeah.
That's right.
But he didn't get to take it. That's why Red Daniels won the Strike Cup, because he got
was the
beat up
last-minute
by Jason
replacement.
Tiller, who turned on him. And yeah, Joey O'Reilly versus Cash Borden is going to
Those
be.
are gonna be stupid. I'm super excited to see what they do with Tony and Jay Spade together as a team, especially the dynamic of like with Red as champion, who kind of screwed Heath over, and now you have this new formed alliance of Flood and Spade. So
will we see Heath and Red team up maybe for a 2-on-2 match? I don't know. It's all up in the air. We're going to find out. We're going to keep you guys updated as we preview Stride and everything else. But you guys, we got to get out of here. I thought we'll wrap this up early. No, it's an hour and a half anyway.
Yeah, of course
It's an hour and a half anyway. And that was with 7 stories? Fuck our lives. All right, we're going to get out of here. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Pro Wrestling Unscripted tonight. Asa, please take us out.
Facebook.com/Podzilla1985. Give us a like. Give us a share. Podzilla1985.com. I'm so hungry and so tired, and 8 o'clock is going to come so early in the morning. Patreon.com/Podzilla1985. For just $1, you get the pre-shows.
A lot of fun.
You can be like Johnny Underwood, and for $10, we will read things that you want us to read, like at Austin Lane 1. Go follow that, the official Twitter of the best Austin Lane, who will be issuing an open challenge at March Malice 3, Saturday, March 23rd. What month is March Malice in?
I think it's
March.
Oh,
Okay,
March.
cool. March 23rd at the AC Braze Arena. But until then, follow at Austin Lane 1 on Twitter.
And I believe he had something that he wanted Dalton Anthony to read.
No, Derek Boxdorfer
Oh, Derek Boxdorfer has something.
had something that he wants Dalton to read. So
who's also a patron.
I don't have the Derek line. I have the Johnny Underwood line.
Oh, we already read the Derek one.
Oh, you read it to me. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the Johnny Underwood one was his Twitter. Well, that one's on us, Austin. Fine. Read the thing, Dalton.
Asa's tired.
I am Dalton Anthony, and Austin Lane is my daddy. Also, Austin is the sexiest man I've ever seen. He needs to put punctuation in this. There should be
Is
some
that
commas.
in there?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there. For $10, we will read something.
And then Dalton will butcher it and make fun of you.
That is very much up to approval. Like we can't just,
We're not going to say
Yeah,
everything.
you were
weirdos want
always
us
going to
say.
read that, but there are things that we absolutely will not say, and you will not get your money back. But yeah, so for $1 you get all the pre-shows. Pre-shows are a lot of fun. And then so patreon.com Podzilla1985, and then of course find us on YouTube because we have the first episode of the PZSF,
Federation.
the Podzilla Smash Federation. It's a lot of fun.
It's like
I'm
wrestling.
excited
If
to
wrestling were Smash Brothers,
Right, I'm excited to see what we continue to do with it.
Episode 2, I think, is even better.
Yeah.
Stronger matches. All right, let's just get the hell out of here. I want to
Yes,
thank you
please.
guys for listening. We love you so much. Thanks for taking this journey with us again. We'll be back tomorrow with After Dark. We're going to talk about some fun things or not so fun things. We'll see. And then, of course, on Sunday Nerd Up. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Later.